Baybayin ng pangarap, bayaning walang hanggan, sa malayong lupain, may bukang liwayway. Welcome to the Overseas Podcast Worker. Hello.
Hello mga ka-Hopi. Welcome to episode 12. Yes. Okay.
Happy New Year muna.
Happy New Year.
It's now 2024.
2024 and our topic for today is medyo
Significant.
kasi may mga nagiging mainit siya recently na topic sa Pilipinas.
Yeah.
It's about balikbayan boxes.
Yes.
Balikbayan box. Ano bang balikbayan box? Ano bang balikbayan box para sa'yo?
Kasi nasanay ako na since naging OFW ako noong 2005, yearly, at least siguro mga twice a year, or hindi, maximum twice a year or at least once a year, nagsisend talaga ako ng balikbayan box. For me, it's sign of love. Love for my family. Tapos, syempre, yung kung ano man yung laman nun, yun yung mga ipon ko. It came from hard work. Gusto ko rin na kung ano man yung na, let's say, nakukonsume ko back then sa Dubai, I could share it to my family in the Philippines. So, yun ang gusto kong, kaya nga for me, it's a sign of love. Kasi kung ano yung na-experience ko, gusto ko rin na ma-experience nila. And tsaka effort yun Hindi madaling magbalikbayan box. Kasi I remember, especially for a product na, liquid, kailangan mong isi-seal yung cover noon para, alam mo naman, hindi mag-spill, or ako, ang ginagawa ko to make it secure, even yung katawan niya, ganun ako ka-OC, talagang tinetape ko yon para hindi mabutas. Lalo na, syempre, di ba, mga boxes, I'm sure hindi naman, unless nilagyan mo yun ng di ba, ng parang handle with care, hindi siya i-handle with care. So, for me, balikbayan box symbolizes OFWs talaga, in general. And how your family means to you. So, that is balikbayan box for me.
Okay. Sa akin kasi, nakakatawa minsan pag nakakita ko ng mga nagpapabalikbayan box. Lalo na yung pag from the perspective ng pinagpadalan. Kasi pag bukas nila, makikita nila, pati ba ito papadala pa yung unan, may mga, minsan, yung mga unlikely na bagay. Minsan, alala ko, nagpadala ko ng basurahan.
Talaga? Oh my God, kailan mo ginawa
Hindi, kasi maganda yung, lagayan.
I see, okay.
Tapos, pero, also, that states na mahirap siyang punuin.
Hindi madali.
Kasi parang, there's a dilemma na parang gusto mo siyang mapuno as much as possible kasi gusto mong masulit yung binayad mo.
Yeah.
But at the same time, ang kailangan mo lang mapadala is yung allowed. Kasi alam ko merong mga hindi allowed like food, for example, na yung mapapanis.
Exactly.
And then, ano pa ba? Ang alam ko, and just by yung mga mamahaling, halimbawa, mga gadgets, huwag mo ipadala doon kasi...
Is it forbidden or it's just your choice?
It's my choice.
Yeah.
Okay. Yung food is forbidden. Pero yung gadgets na mamahalin is choice ko yun. Kasi parang malaki yung risk na mawawala kung sa ganong katagal. Tapos, yun nga, mahirap siyang punuin. At saka, I agree na parang it represents parang yung pinagpaguran mo while you're away. Tapos, pagdating nila, pagdating ng box na yun sa Pilipinas, it shows it represents kung ano yung pinagpaguran.
Parang hard work talaga.
Parang...
Kahit pa magkano yun Kasi yung
Mm.
thought of, whenever you buy something, kasi
Mm.
ang thought process ko 'pag nagpapabalik-bayan box ako before, like iisipin ko sa Pilipinas, ano ba yung mga mahal
Mm.
sa Pilipinas na makukuha kong mas mura back then in
Mm.
Dubai. Talagang bumibili ako ng mga fabric
Mm.
conditioners, naalala ko, yung mga shampoo na kasi yan yung mga mahal sa Pilipinas. Kaya nga 'di ba sa Pilipinas yung mga shampoo para makatipid ka, bibili ka ng mga naka-sachet,
Mm.
or yung mga lotion, yung mga sabon, yan yung mga Dove, kasi yan yung mga mahal sa Pilipinas, yung
Mm.
mga Nivea. Eh, sa Dubai magkano mo lang mabibili.
Mm.
Kung talagang ano ka, masipag ka talaga, pupunta ka sa mga thrift stores or thrift groceries, like
Mm.
I'm sure alam ng mga taga Dubai 'to, yung sobrang popular na,
Mm.
'di ba, grocery,
Mm.
which is called Baker Mohebi.
Mm.
Lahat, I mean, pumupunta doon.
Mm.
I'm sure it's very popular up until now, na popular siya for, for stuff that are on, uh, are on good prices. Like
Mm.
minsan buy one, take one. Or minsan isa pang pakete
Mm.
na mga, ano ba tawag doon, na mga sabon. Like, especially yung mga chocolates.
Mm.
Kasi, katulad dito, yung mga German chocolates natin, mura din. And, unbelievably, meron din doon na mga German chocolates na mabibili mo at
Mm.
low cost. Very, very low cost. So, ayun, parang ang sarap din kasi ng feeling na nagbibigay ka sa family mo sa
Mm.
Pilipinas. Kasi
Yun.
yun nga,
Tsaka ano,
it's that.
I think kaya nga rin natin 'to madalas tinatanong sa mga guests natin, just to reiterate na
Yeah.
it's very representative of OFWs. Tsaka
Mm.
I may be wrong, Google niyo 'to,
Mhm.
pero for tayo lang mga Pilipino ang mga migrants or
Mhm.
expats sa ibang bansa na may ganito. 'Di ba?
Ah.
Kung halimbawa, wala akong nakikitang mga
Mm.
services na
Mm.
balikbayan box, or well, obviously hindi balikbayan box ang tawag sa ibang bansa nun, pero mga Pilipino lang ang may ganitong service kung nasa ibang bansa ka, na parang may mga freight forwarder na nag-o-offer ng ganito.
Oo, specifically,
Normally,
yeah.
kung taga-ibang bansa ka, expat ka, you will go through the normal freight forwarding service
Ng mga
na
international.
international na
Mm.
DHL or
Yeah.
ano.
Or
Pero
UPS and
sa mga
yung mga
Pilipino,
major.
tayo nga medyo yung lugar natin ngayon sa Hamburg is hindi pa gano'n ka densely populated ng mga Pilipino, pero may available pa rin na service
Kaya
natin na balikbayan box na ipi-pick up yun, 'di
oo,
ba?
and
So
singit ko lang, yung dating ginamit natin na freight forwarder na, for balikbayan box,
mm,
surprisingly ang may-ari is a German, hindi nga Pinoy, eh. Because they know
there's a market.
yeah, there's a market,
Mm.
there's a demand.
And even though na gano'ng maliit, 'di ba, yung population. Although sa tingin ko ang kahit gano'ng kaliit ang population dito sa Germany in comparison to Dubai, to Middle East, or
Yeah.
Hong Kong, Singapore,
Mhm.
malaking pera pa rin yun. I mean, makakapuno ka pa rin ng isang
Yeah.
ng isang container.
Mm.
So, kaya malaking bagay talaga sa atin yang
Freight
balikbayan box na.
forwarders, yeah.
Balikbayan box.
Yung kasi siyempre yung balikbayan box, for that to be moved to the Philippines, kailangan may freight forwarder to move those boxes or parcels. At ikaw kasi you're working in a logistics company. So,
Yeah.
I'm sure ikaw yung maraming masasabi dito. Ano bang involvement or ano bang main responsibilities ng freight forwarder, or let's say mga cargo companies? Are they different? How are they not how are they different from one another? So,
Essentially, ang role ng freight forwarder, actually in the case of balikbayan boxes, madali lang eh. Napaka-straightforward.
yeah.
Kasi, ang ikaw as a customer, nagbayad ka ng service sa freight forwarder to pick it up from your door and for it to be delivered sa Philippines
Yeah.
to door. So that's a door-to-door service.
Yeah.
Ang role ng freight forwarder is to make sure that basically, in a nutshell, for all of that to happen. Yun lang. Before siguro mas maganda muna bago natin pag-usapan yung technicalities and yung expertise ko about yan.
Yes.
Let's talk about the recent viral video. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
Yeah.
So, in a
I saw
nutshell,
that.
merong isang TikToker, I think. TikToker siya. Si
Content creator.
Content creator. Si Alex Vines.
Mm.
So, nag-viral siya kasi recently, merong isang balikbayan box na ino-auction pala apparently sa Philippines. Tapos, binibenta siya in amount of 5,500 pesos, I think, more or less. Tapos, ayun, kahit sino pwedeng bumili kasi apparently hindi na siya na-claim nung recipient.
Yeah.
Kaya, binenta na lang sa kanya nung kung sino man yung
No
nagbenta.
cargo company. And ang claim was, it's been in the storage for more than a year. Or at least around 1 year. So, siguro dun sa side nung cargo company, syempre may binabayaran silang storage dun, di ba? So,
Hindi. Yeah. Oo.
kaya
But
siya na.
again, before we
You dive into
deviate to let's have a look on the perspective siguro nung recipient.
Yeah.
Kung halimbawa, for example, what was your reaction when nakita mo yung balikbayan box na yun na binubuksan na supposedly merong makakatanggap? A while ago, you mentioned that it's hard work ng ano mo, tapos nakita mo, binubuksan ng iba na hindi intended para sa kanila.
Ako of course, tao lang ako, no? Maiinis ako kasi kung kunwari ako yung may-ari nung balikbayan box na yon, I know na hindi siya nakarating sa family ko. Pero, kasi logical tayo mag-isip eh. So, ano ba yung cargo company? Is it that credible? Naging ano ba siya? Is it accredited? And then, ano ba yung background niya? Doon mo na ako mag-check. So, yung actually, reaction ko, hindi ako nainis doon sa doon sa content creator na yun.
Okay.
Kasi, recently, if you remember, meron ako nakita na ganyan din. Di ba, parang, yung mga unclaimed luggages sa Lufthansa, in-auction din siya eh. Naalala mo yun? Pero parang hindi ko tinuloy kasi parang yung website wasn't that secured. So I thought if I am going to buy something from the website, baka makuha yung mga information ko. But apart from that, kung secured yung website, I would have bought it. Kasi yung luggages, malalaki siya, tapos sa Lufthansa pa siya galing, and I think it's just around 10 euros. Well, yun nga, again, tingnan mo, yung thought process ko is, I would buy, but you need to also check, is it secured to buy from that website? Or yun nga, parang due diligence talaga, mag-research ka, yung company na yon ng website na yun, are they even, do they have the permit to sell that? Especially coming from Lufthansa. Lufthansa yun, alam mo naman kung gaano ka-strict, especially sa Germany, di ba? So parang ang reaction ko towards that content creator is, okay lang. Like, hindi ako magagaya sa kanya. In fact, parang baka nga sisihin ko yung sarili ko eh. Kasi, bakit sa isang taon, hindi nakarating sa family ko yung balikbayan box? Kasi I have the responsibility to check diligently yung mga freight forwarders that I would choose to bring my balikbayan box to the Philippines. So, siguro I don't know, hindi ko naman alam yung name ng cargo company. Baka meron siyang promotion that baka kaka-open lang niya, if you choose their balikbayan box service, you can pay as low as this or that. You know what I mean? Kaya nga parang even choosing a balikbayan box cargo shipping to ship your box, due diligence talaga. alamin mo kung accredited siya at saka yung number of years that they've been operating. If, let's say, if it's maybe new or not more than 5 years, medyo kabahan ka kasi ibig sabihin hindi nila nare-renew yung business permit nila. Therefore, kung hindi nila nare-renew, hindi sila nagko-comply sa mga documents or any permits that they're supposed to do to be able to renew their permits.
Yeah.
So, ayun ang reaction ko. Di ba, dami ko sabi, sorry. Pero, yeah, hindi ako, I mean, nakakaawa yung nagpadala, pero, parang naging advantage yun dun sa bumili. Ayun. And what about you? What's your reaction?
Okay. Now, I think dito na mag-i-step in ang aking superpower.
Yeah, superpower.
No, I'll try my best. So, quick background. So, kung nakikinig kayo ng episode 2.
Episode 2.
Which is basically my background. So,
yeah.
In a nutshell, I have experience in freight forwarding, logistics and supply chain, and IT in the past more or less 15 years. Yeah. So I think I can step into the shoes of the freight forwarder.
Okay.
And maybe able to represent that. So, ganito kasi yan eh. So anything na nagmo-move from one part of the world to another part of the world, it comes in stages.
Yeah.
Okay? So, in a nutshell, itong stages na to ay export, yung freight, or so yung transit, and then pag import, merong import, and then customs clearance until yung last mile to the door. So, in a nutshell, yun yung steps. Along those steps, merong may mga corresponding charges yan. So, may bayad yung freight, may bayad yung import, may import taxes yan, may customs clearance, and then yung gastos sa last mile.
Ay,
so,
dami pala.
Ngayon, yung sinasabi dun sa balita kasi, pag it's, or going back dun sa sinabi ko kanina, na yung balikbayan box, yung sinabi kong mga cost na yon, tayo as customers, we paid for all of that.
Yeah.
Okay? So, if I paid a door-to-door service to the freight forwarder, I'm expecting na may deliver niya yun hanggang sa door sa recipient.
Yeah.
So, sa mga kamag-anak ng OFWs. Therefore, kung hindi niya ma-deliver yun, let's say, nagpunta siya nag-freight na siya, na-import na siya, dumaan na ng customs, tapos, hindi niya na-deliver yun, technically, may utang sa atin si freight forwarder.
Yeah.
Kasi we paid for the full service.
Yeah.
So, kung hindi niya na-deliver yun, at binenta niya, napagkakitaan niya tayo. Gets mo?
Yeah.
Kasi, hindi niya dineliver, hindi na niya dineliver, binenta pa niya.
Yeah.
So, doble yung tubo niya. Kasi, hindi niya, kumuha siya doon sa binayad natin, which is supposedly hanggang yung final step, and binenta pa niya. So,
plus yung content.
Yun. So, I do agree na sinabi mo kanina, there's due diligence for us na magpadala. But, I would counter that also na there's a very huge part for the freight forwarder to be responsible for that. Kasi, ganito yan. Sinasabi ni Customs, makita mo sa balita, sinasabi ni Customs na sila, kapag ano nila, wala silang make sure nila na nade-deliver sa lahat.
Okay.
At meron namang mga freight forwarders na inaamin nila na binibenta nila.
Yeah.
So, if you come back to dun sa description ko, it's a process, it's a stage. Okay? So, after ni Customs, si freight forwarder. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, it's not either or. Okay? Ibig sabihin lang ni Customs doon, dumaan na sa amin. So, ang next stage, si freight forwarder na. Dapat niya nang i-deliver. There are also instances na kapag hinold ni Customs, ibig sabihin, hindi binayaran ni freight forwarder yung cost. Okay? So, kapag hindi binayaran ni freight forwarder yung cost, at na-hold siya kay customs, ang sinasabi ni customs, pag nasa amin, minimake sure namin na i-deliver. So that's, in the end, that's good for the customer or sa atin. But, ang most likely na nangyari, katulad dito sa nag-viral video na to, kung ni-release na ni customs, at hindi niya, yung sinasabi kasi nila, is yung last mile, yung pag-deliver. At hindi niya na-contact yung recipient at na-hold na sa kanila. So, doon I think yung malaking what do you call this? Yung pagiging irresponsible ni freight forwarder. Kasi sinabi nila na stored na sa warehouse nila for 1 year kaya binenta na nila. But if you'll remember, going back again for the perspective, habang nagpapadala ka, you'll fill out your address and your phone number, right? And I think that's more than enough information for the freight forwarder. At hindi lang for phone number nung yung recipient. For phone number mo rin as a sender. So in theory, nasa kanila lahat na information to make sure it gets delivered.
I see.
It doesn't necessarily phone number ni recipient. You have your details as well as a sender. So, ang responsibility ng freight forwarder is to reach out back to you kung hindi nila na deliver.
Okay.
Lalo na kung umabot ng ganun. Kasi kaya rin nila binebenta, nabanggit mo kanina kasi nag-accumulate siya ng space sa warehouse. So that's another cost for the freight forwarder. Kasi pag napupuno yung warehouse nila, hindi na kasi sila makakatanggap ng bago. So habang napupuno, it's lost business for them.
May question ako. Like, kasi sinabi nila, walang nag-claim. Pero now that you're saying, door-to-door siya, hindi naman siya kailangan i-claim eh. They have the responsibility to really fulfill their responsibility up to the last mile. You said, diba? Kasi nga door-to-door. So, dun pa lang, nagkaroon na, obviously, they didn't do their responsibility kasi hindi nila naabot yung to the mile, last mile. So, kung kunyari ba ganun, pwede ba nila maging argument na, kasi nung dumating kami dun sa location, walang nag-receive. Pwede rin bang reason yun?
Hindi kasi ang obligation nga nila is to coordinate that on the last mile. Hindi naman po pwedeng walang nag-receive kasi you'll have to coordinate that.
To call first.
Call first to make sure that we're delivering this on this day.
Okay.
Kung walang at the very worst case, dumating sila, walang tao doon. Ang kailangan nila is bumalik.
Or maybe leave a
note. Or leave a note. Again, we as customers, we paid door to door. Okay? So, that's the response. Again, yung due diligence, we can only do so much. Kasi, for example, tayo dito sa Germany, we only have very few options for yung service mga freight forwarders na nag-offer ng balikbayan box. Tapos kung ang pipiliin mo naman is DHL, napakamahal. So, from our perspective, this is a legitimate company. Meron siyang, naka-register siya, it's very likely na i-deliver niya talaga. Kasi kung ganun, most likely ganun din ang information na nakuha ng mga naloko eh.
Oo.
Na kasi hindi naman yan makakapagtakbo ng, lalo na dun sa exporting part, meaning yung sa origin country niya. So, a legitimate business yan, more often than not, dun sa exporting countries. Kasi,
kung kunwari from Dubai, from Germany, okay.
I think on that case, video,
Kuwait.
Qatar, Kuwait. Kasi hindi naman yan makapag-operate ng business kung hindi siya, dadaan niya ng Kuwaiti regulations to be able to run a freight forwarding business. So, they went through that para maging legitimate business sila. Ang kadalasan nangyayari is on yung last mile or yung sa importing side of things. Yeah, no? More often than not, walang na-stock sa exporting side. So, ang mangyayari lang yan na magkaka-issue sa exporting side is halimbawa, meron kang illegal na contraband na nalagay, ititigil na kagad yan sa export. Pero other than that, kung yung normal things na pinapadala ng OFWs, ang kadalasan lang yan ay stuck sa Pilipinas na.
So the way I see it is, kumbaga efficient naman yung from point A up to the customs.
Yeah.
Ang hindi nagiging efficient, yung counterpart na office sa Pilipinas. Siguro may mga, ayaw ko naman mag-judge, no? Baka siguro naisip nila, ay, hayaan mo na. Wala nang pumunta tayo. Or tipong inisip nila, ay, yung gasolina, ay, tinamad na or something. No?
Ang kadalasan kasi niyan, lalo na yung mga small companies, ewan ko madalas, pero there's a scenario na po pwedeng dalawang kumpanya yan sa export tsaka sa import.
Yeah.
Ako, freight forwarded ako sa Qatar, sa Kuwait. Meron akong counterpart sa Pilipinas na siyang magre-receive. Kumbaga kaming dalawang kumpanya, may kontrata kami. May kontrata kami na business partners tayo, ako magdadala dyan, ikaw mag-deliver. Pwedeng ganun. So, pwedeng yung nag-export, wala rin siyang, he can also be blindsided nung importer company. God. So, that's another scenario. Unless, katulad ng LBC, and sila, end-to-end sila talaga.
I see.
So, that's also another scenario. So, there's multiple scenarios na pwedeng mangyari diyan. Pero, in the end, as the way I see it, it's always on the last mile. Yung pagde-deliver. Kaya siya i-stock. Hindi siya na-deliver.
Hindi ba usually yung iba may mga insurance pa dyan? Okay. So, in that case, let's say, sabihin natin na, sabi mo kasi na, yung pwedeng maging responsibility ng cargo to the sender is yung fee na binayad mo and the content itself. Now, in this case, kung kunwari, kumuha ng insurance or nagbayad ng extra yung sender for insurance, making sure na kapag hindi nakarating, may damages, makaka-claim sila. So, do you think that's also, that may be a good recommendation?
But, it's more often than not kasi yung mga balikbayan boxes natin walang insurance. Kasi yung insurance, you would know na kailangan mong it would spike up yung price din.
Yeah.
And then kailangan mo i-declare kung ano yung laman.
Yeah, yun nga, isa-isa.
Isa-isa.
Kasi usually pag balikbayan box, kasi nga hindi mo na kailangan i-declare lahat. Basta kasya siya doon sa box na binili mo.
Yeah.
If it's like ano ba yung pinakamalaki? Yung jumbo. Kahit ano pang isiksik mo dyan, whether mabigat o hindi, basta kasya-kasya. Diba?
So, yun na nga. I mean, nasa sayo yun. Pero that would be comparable, I would say, parang nag-DHL ka na rin. Na kung gusto mo ng insurance.
But I think like,
it would spike up the price.
Ako knowing na may mga scenarios that could happen, tapos merong mga tipong freight forwarder na hindi naman talagang, ano ba tawag dito, sila yung up until the last mile, kasi sinabi mo nga, pwedeng iba yung sa export, pwedeng iba yung nag-import. So, ako parang best advice is stick dun sa talagang known.
Yeah.
And, yun nga, credible. Siguro, ako kasi sa marketing ako, diba? So, the first thing that I would take a look at, syempre, is i-research mo yung company and then yung reviews about that brand. Kung maraming reviews and minsan with the word of mouth, like maybe from your friends, na tipong, oh, have you tried this service? Was it successfully delivered and stuff like that? Kasi from the name, I don't know kasi katulad nung nandun tayo sa Dubai, we never tried any other cargo company. Ever since LBC tayo, diba?
Yeah. So, you're right. Again,
Mm.
pumapasok din yung due diligence and
Mm.
ano,
Yeah.
yung ano. Pero I think this is also, I don't think the first time that this happened. It's a very common situation sa balikbayan boxes. I would bet 100% ngayon may mga stock sa warehouses ng ano na yan na hindi pa rin na-deliver. Because it's a continuous thing. It's a known issue. Pero ang kailangan din kasi, lalo na ngayon sa in the age of technology, social media, there's enough information na na-receive mo. I really think na yung freight forwarder can do a lot more to find out who it can be delivered to.
Totoo.
Kasi hindi lang po pwede ngayon natatawagan mo lang yung phone number. Pag hindi sumagot, walang sumagot, wala na tayo sa time ng rotary phone na gano'n na rin. Meron kang email, i-email mo or kontakin mo yung kontakin mo sa Facebook, may name yan. Or kung ikaw ay meron kang freight forwarding company, gumawa ka ng Facebook page mo.
Oo.
Tapos yung recipient bago pa lang matanggap or ano mo na, there's so many ways. There's so many ways
May software to actually what's this? Have a customer service provide a customer service.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. Yun nga, invest in, proper software.
Tapos sa atin namang ng mga yung I think napaka-minor lang to sa mga recipient, make sure na yung phone number mo siguro gumagana. I don't know kung ano. But
or may tanong ako kasi ang sinabi doon 1 year na hindi siya na-claim. So, kunyari ikaw yung sender at ikaw sa perspective mo na sa logistics ka, kailan dapat mag-worry or tipong mag-follow up ang sender doon sa cargo shipper nung balikbayan nila. Let's say for example, kasi ito sa experience ko is meron katulad dito, nagpadala ako that was how many years ago. Meron silang website to track, okay? Kung nakaalis na sa Germany.
Okay.
But in the Philippines, hindi na yon. Parang you need to wait for around 1 or 2 months.
Yeah.
So, yun is yung advice nila. Pero ikaw, as a logistics person, ano yung recommended time period for us na talagang kailangan mangatok na tayo, mangulit, and all that?
Kasi, that's a very good question. Kasi, outside dun sa halimbawa sa website nung freight forwarder or sa communication nyo, tatanungin mo gano'ng katagal, tatanungin ka nila.
Yeah.
1 buwan, ganyan. Pero there's public information ang transit time. So for example, i-google mo lang 'yan or most likely sa mga carrier websites. How long does one ship takes from Kuwait to Manila? So you would have a rough idea how long it would take from the port of Kuwait, from the port of Manila.
Yeah.
The only yung questionable na lang is kung halimbawa sa case niya Negros Occidental, from port of Manila to Negros Occidental. And that varies also. So yun siguro yung hindi na public information. Siguro yun you can na lang parang gut feeling kasi siguro as a passenger alam mo na rin kung gaano katagal pumunta from Negros to Manila. Parang yun ang i-add mo doon sa public information na available from Kuwait to Port of Manila.
Okay.
So, let's say ang Port of Manila or Kuwait to Manila will take 2.5 weeks. Your gut feeling from Manila to Negros is, let's say, another week. So 3 weeks. Yun based on your own research, dapat gumagawa ka rin. Ganun dapat ang transit time nun. Yung malalaking freight forwarder, mag-o-offer sila ng tracking service. Ganyan. Para malaman mo kung nasaan na. So, dapat yun gawin mo rin. So, pag nag-exceed na sila sa time na yon, I think yun yung time na pwede ka na mag-follow up.
Yeah.
Ngayon, ang alam ko dyan, kasi, eto pa isa, kasi yung pag-update sa customer.
Yeah.
Meron kasi what do you call this? Misinformation.
Yeah.
Hindi siya near real time ang tracking. Akala mo, minsan kasi parang akala natin high-tech na natatrack natin ng live yung box. Di ba? Hindi po ganun. Ang nangyayari
Akala ko ganun. So, anong ibig sabihin nun?
Ang nangyayari lang dyan, kasi dinescribe ko sa'yo yung mga stages niya, di ba? Ang nangyayari lang dyan, kapag meron niyang bill of lading, yun yung most of the time, yun yung parang tracking number din na ginagamit natin. So, meron lang tao na nagsabi, okay, dumaan na siya sa import, sa customs clearance, tapos napatype ko na yan sa computer. Lalabas na yun sa system nila. So, there's human interaction pa rin na kapag sinabi ko, pag meron nang nag-receive, kasi nga doon sa mga stages na yun, sa export, import, customs clearance, delivery, until, halimbawa, magkasakit lang yung tao na yun nandun sa import, miski nandun na physically yung box, hindi mo makikita yan sa ano. Kasi merong physical interaction ng tao na kailangan sabihin niya, natanggap na pala dito sa system. So, doon mo lang malalaman na dumating na pala sa Pilipinas.
So, talagang may complacency dun sa freight forwarder sa Pilipinas. Sobrang, oh my God.
Yes.
Unbelievable. Ngayon, naiinis ako. So, parang, di ba, okay na, smooth na yung process until it reached the Philippines, biglang, ano nangyari?
Kaya nga, I would, kasi maraming ang nakikita kong mga reaction videos para dyan sa nangyari na yan is mostly addressed to us OFWs na maging complacent, gumawa ng due diligence. But I really feel na the freight forwarders should step up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of missing information there that is not available for OFWs. And I'm fortunate to be aware of what are the scenarios behind that. So, I can tell kung anong ginagawa nilang mali. So, I really feel na there's a lot that can be improved. At saka kasi ito outside of the box na lang thinking what can be solved here is that the problem kasi is multiple freight forwarders. And makikita mo may deviation ng performance, sinong freight forwarder magaling, sinong freight forwarder ano. So, I really feel na the government should also step in to maintain a standard dito sa mga freight forwarders na to.
Correct.
Kasi, hindi po pwede yung deviation na yun kasi unfair din naman sa mga small players. Na halimbawa, ako small freight forwarder, honest ako sa work ko. But there's no chance for me to grow.
True.
Right? Now, kung merong government agency na siguro customs, I don't know, ang mag-step in para i-standardize kung paano mag-deliver ang mga freight forwarders, that can be improved a lot.
That's
Also,
really good idea.
Ang outside of that, for example, kasi ang number one reason ng mga freight forwarders is wala na silang space, ay ibebenta na namin to. What I would propose is yung siguro, yung mag-step in na rin siguro yung, I don't know, Department of Migrant Workers, para, kasi ang Department of Migrant Workers is naalala mo, may OEC kami, may OEC tayo. Meron yang database of meron yang database ng lahat ng OFWs. Saan sila nakatira, saan sila ano. So, kung halimbawa itong si recipient na taga Negros ay hindi ma-contact, dapat si Department of Migrant Workers, I have a record of that person kung saan siya nakatira, sino mga pwede mong kontakin. So, also, apart from the communication, yung siguro mag-offer, I don't know, siguro mag-offer din sila ng warehouse for storage. I don't know. Siguro
Kapag
that's
hindi na
Oo.
claim. Meron akong siguro another idea na kasi 'di ba usually meron tayong isang recipient lang. Ako parang dapat merong alternative just to be on the safe side. Na kunyari meron ka 'di ba sa form, recipient. Dapat kung may recipient 1, meron ka ring recipient 2. That in case the first recipient, parang wala talagang kawala yung mga cargo shippers na
Actually, sorry, continue.
sige, na hindi pa na-update yung what should be the right regulations para mag-step up yung service nila. At parang in the meantime, maglagay ka ng recipient 2. So, parang hindi na sabihin, hindi namin makontak yung recipient 1. Therefore, iniwan namin sa storage namin and tumagal nga ng 1 year, so kailangan namin benta. Di ang pwede dalawa yung recipient. Bakit hindi mo din kinontak
Actually,
yung recipient 2?
That's a good point because it's already existing.
It is?
It is.
Okay.
Kasi hindi yan recipient 2 ang tawag. It's called the notify party.
I see.
But that's not mandatory.
Okay,
So it's not
that's good.
Yeah.
So maybe you want to highlight that
Siguro kung
to everyone listening now.
kasi again, this is addressed to the freight forwarders. Kasi
Hindi, yun lang pinaka-point na yan.
Yung point na kasi
secretary kayo,
don't make it optional but make it mandatory to have a notify party.
Yun. So, yung recipient 1, definitely yung main person to receive the balikbayan box. And then, kung hindi siya sabihin ng cargo shipper na meron palang option na notify me, which is yung alternate recipient, ano na kayo, kumbaga parang initiate to ask that and where to put that information dun sa form.
Yes, exactly.
Tama?
So that's why we'll go back again dun sa topic na yung freight forwarder can be, I think there's so much room for improvement. And it's not, I'm not asking for a massive overhaul. It's already options na available sa kanila. So, yun nga, I really feel na yung victims dito, tayong OFW, dapat hindi sa atin ipasa yung responsibility na maging due diligence, ganyan. I think we've done our part. Like, the fact na registered tong business na to, nagbayad ako sa'yo door to door, that's it. That's my end of responsibility.
Yeah.
Responsibility falls on the freight forwarder.
Yeah.
Kung hindi nyo dineliver yan, may utang kayo sa akin.
Yeah.
And yun nga sinasabi, pinopropose ko kanina is kung may isang department, kung eventually, at the very worst case, ibebenta nyo talaga yan.
Which actually really happens.
Yeah,
kasi dito nangyari yan.
But kung ibebenta nyo yan, kung ang magmamanage is the Department of Migrant Workers, at least, babalik sa mga OFW yung pinagbentahan.
Oo nga.
Hindi sa bulsa ng freight forwarder dapat.
Yeah.
Kasi, napaka-unfair nga. Kasi nga, ang binayad ko is full end-to-end. But
full service,
kung ibebenta nyo yan, dapat ibalik nyo dun sa kung hindi man personally dun sa nag-send, at least dun sa department na responsible for OFWs.
Yeah. To the agency that would take care of overseas Filipino workers. Yeah, I think yung discussion natin about sa mga balikbayan boxes, ako in my opinion, opened up a lot of information kasi like even though I know you work for a logistics company, but we don't talk about it that thorough. Kasi wala naman tayo naging problem. Thank you Lord, wala pa. Pero ibig sabihin, yung information na nasabi mo from your perspective na working in a logistics is very informative and very helpful para sa mga ganong na nangyayaring cases, no?
Kasi at saka, ako rin naman kasi minsan sa work ko, hindi ko ina-apply sa balikbayan box na ina-apply ko eh.
Yeah,
alam mo yun?
I know. Kasi kayo, iba naman yung
hindi ko ina-expect yung the same service na ino-offer na isang super laking kumpanya sa freight forwarder na. But yung what I'm talking about is at least the very basic.
Yeah.
The service that you offered your customer is at least the service that they should get.
Yeah, I agree.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I guess that wraps up our
Yeah.
topic on this
On the
very
balikbayan box.
relevant
So I wish lahat
issue.
ng balikbayan box nyo ay dumating.
Kasi diba, New Year na, especially nakarating na sa amin for during Christmas.
And I hope yung information na nabigay ko is makatulong sa inyo. At saka yun, maging proactive kayo sa dikdikin nyo itong mga freight forward.
Yeah.
Okay, that's our episode. Bye-bye!
Bye, Kobe's!